Hey guys, and welcome to a recent viewing video, and I'm kind of pissed right now because I already recorded this earlier and I thought that I downloaded it to my computer. For some reason or another, it didn't. So I'm redoing this one right now before I do the second one. Anyway, this one was short before, so I want to try to keep it short this time. Last night I watched a documentary about video games called Video Games the Movie. This was some sort of a Kickstarter funded and backed movie that was filmed last year, I guess. It came out in July of 2014. And obviously, as I said, it's a documentary about video games. Because I want to keep this short, or I want to keep this short because, one, it was a good movie. It was good, it was informative. As a gamer, as somebody who's into this kind of stuff, they would have really had to do something crazy to fuck it up, which they did not. It was, like I said, informative, and it covered a lot of stuff that I already knew, but it also taught me a few things that I didn't really know, especially about some of the way back history of video games. So as far as that is concerned, it's well worth a watch. The only things that I had any kind of a problem with in this movie were two things. Kind of, I guess you could say, because of my slight OCD tendencies, I wanted to see the movie flow in a consistent timeline. The movie itself actually had screenshots of flying through a timeline in a year, and when a certain console came out, when certain games came out, and when certain incidents in gaming had hit. But it would go down that timeline talking about stuff, and then it would find itself going back and talking about different things as it went. I just really would have loved to have seen the movie just cover stuff year by year or release by release, and not jump up through the timeline and then come back and skip through it for other topics. Whatever, it's their choice. The makers of this are allowed to do it however they want to do it. I just would have liked to have seen it that way. I could have absorbed stuff better if it had been that way. The other issue that I had with it was the movie was roughly an hour and 40 minutes long, and that's quite a bit of time, and they covered a lot of different stuff. But we're talking almost 45 years worth of consoles, just home consoles, not to mention the video games that came before the Odyssey. I think was the first one in 72 or something, but there was stuff in the 50s and 60s too, so like 60 plus years worth of gaming history in an hour and 40 minutes. There's a lot of stuff that gets overlooked, a lot of stuff that gets glossed over, and that's a bit of a bummer. I think documentaries that cover, say, Nintendo, or a documentary that might cover arcades, or documentaries that might cover gaming in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, those would probably really better touch on all the kind of topics that a gamer would want to hear about in a movie like this. A lot better than a movie that's just like, hey, these are all video games. But those are minor complaints, and really more complaints from my own. I don't think that most people would have issues with that. It's definitely well worth a watch if you're a gamer, and that's all I wanted to say. That's why I wanted to keep it short, because, it's video games. If you like video games, you should probably just watch a documentary about games one way or another. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to wrap this one up now so I can do the other one that I had just sat down to do, because I thought I was going to have this one uploading, so stay tuned for that.